Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Concho Sports Insider. I'm Arlen Ponder, and he, way over there on the far corner, is Rob Ray.
Hey, and this evening we are absolutely thrilled to have with us members of the 2025 State Championship 3A baseball team from Wall, Coach Gordon, Coach Luna, Gunnar Dillard, Caleb Braden, and Hagen Barbie. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, appreciate
it. Glad to be here.
Hey, we're just so excited to have you all here. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Coach, how's it feel?
I don't know that it's really set in yet, honestly. I don't know how these guys feel about it, but obviously it's tangible and it's happened, but I still don't know if it's fully sunk in all the way yet that we're state champions. Like, we're the best of the best in 3A Division II, and honestly, I think 3A in general. But feels great, but I don't know that it's fully sunk in all the way yet.
Well, you obviously are the best in 3A. Look at that. And, outstanding job. I don't know if you caught all our broadcasts, but since day one, I think we've been saying this is a state champ team. This is a state champ team. So, and we were a part of that whole process. Rob especially got to be a part of it firsthand. So we felt like we were part of the team going along with y'all.
No, and we appreciate the coverage, and like we were talking about a while ago, Rob came out, watched the practice, and kind of hung out in the dugout and kind of got a little bit of the behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get, like when me and Coach Luna and Coach Wayman and Coach Ballard were kind of talking about some lineup stuff going into the state championship game. And man, so again, we really appreciate the coverage. We're just a little bitty school out in the middle of nowhere, and these kids deserve to be recognized, and they deserve all the recognition that they can get. So we do appreciate y'all guys for being a part of the journey, being a part of the ride, and bringing recognition and some spotlight and some media coverage to these kids. They deserve it.
Now, two of y'all, we've been covering for the whole school year because y'all played football, right?
Yes, sir.
Which one, y'all two?
Yes, sir.
So how did it feel going from football, a successful football program, to a very successful baseball program?
I mean, it's just kind of the testament of Wall. I mean, we just got some really great athletes with some really great coaches, and when you're in Wall, you expect to win, and that's kind of what we do.
That's cool. Yep. And Coach, how did it feel? You coached some football too, right?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I love football. I love football. It's perfect how football and baseball play out, because football is my love in the fall, and I get to really have something to pass the time until baseball starts for me, and then my love in the spring is baseball, and I get to do that and pass some time until football starts again for me. So man, I'm super passionate about both. It's funny, a lot of people, when I got this Wall job, they would ask me, where'd you play college ball at? And I was Hardin-Simmons. What position did you play? I was a slot receiver. Whoa, you didn't play baseball? You're a football guy? I'm not a football guy or a baseball guy. I'm a competitor, and right. I enjoy both. And I just love to compete, and I love those two sports specifically. And so yeah, no, I loved the ride that we had in football. Was unbelievable this year, and I really feel like we got to exercise a few demons along the way, specifically at ACU. That was one thing that me and some of the coaches had talked about. It's like, we're not going to play at ACU. Last year we got bounced in round 2, and then we had Gunnar down in the third quarter, obviously, in football this year in the state semis, and that didn't work out for us. So, when it came down to it, we decided that we were going to play Boyd at ACU that first game, and we went out there and we got a dub. So, kind of like I said, exercised some demons, got that monkey off our back a little bit, and it was great. And real quick, I want to throw this out there too, just a testimony to the athletes like Caleb was talking about. Barbs is also a state winner in track as well.
Oh yeah.
So he does it all. He does it all. So yeah, you got some dudes up here with us tonight.
Some athletes. And did you instill that that competitor, or guys? Let me ask that. Did Coach instill that competitive nature in y'all too? Or did you already have it, or did it get a little more honed throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, you can always think, like, you play sports, you're going to be a competitor. I mean, I think we all are extremely high competitors, but Coach Gordon being out here every day at practice, I mean, you can just see it in him, the fire inside of him. He's 100% competitor, and I think that just transfers over to everyone else out there. So, yeah, definitely.
Right on. Cool.
Well, Gunnar, let's talk about, what was it like going in to the playoff run, knowing that this was just really kind of a warm-up for you for what you got coming up here in the next couple of years, right? You're going up north to Norman and going to play some baseball. What was that like, knowing that, because a lot of guys get to this position, and we'll talk about your teammates and what they're doing next year, but there aren't a lot of athletes that are fortunate enough to have the opportunity to play at the college level, and you're one of them. What did that feel like, knowing that you have more of this to come?
Yeah, it's something I don't take for granted. I mean, you see, like, season's over. I mean, a lot of guys, a lot of my teammates I grew up playing with, they will never play sports again, and it's not the sport I feel like that people miss, it's the teammates. And so that's what I'm super grateful for, is I know next year I'll have a team, and that's something that you can't get back as a kid. And so that's just a big part of it. And then the competition-wise, you just got to keep working hard. So, yeah.
Well, it might not be the sport, but I got to tell you, looking at the season stats, man, you were just absolutely raking. I mean, the overall average of 515, on base percentage of 593. I think the thing that got me the most was the 45 RBI.
Yeah, I had more. I had over 60.
Oh, did you?
I was
okay.
say,
That
might be.
That was the Max Preps thing, or what's in there, but they had him at 5th in state at that mark. So,
I got you right here. I'll give him a little shout out. So, yeah, 515 average, 618 on base percentage, 842 slugging percentage, 52 hits, 12 of those doubles, 3 triples, 5 home runs, 63 RBIs. So, yeah, dude can swing it.
RBIs help when the guys in front of me get on base, though.
Absolutely.
Kellen and Hagan always on base in front of me. Not many times walked up to bat without those guys and somewhere out there. So, a lot of speed there, too.
You're the position that you play. I mean, I think talking before the show, you are also a quarterback. Catchers often referred to as the quarterback of the team in baseball. What do you like more? Do you like the defense? Do you like being on the field and controlling the play, or do you like hitting?
Yeah, I love catching. I just feel like I'm more involved. I'm involved with literally every play of the game. I mean, say the same thing with a pitcher, but I like being back there a lot. I mean, I love the art of framing. Like, that's just something that fires me up. I love blocking. I love throwing runners out. I mean, that's just who I am, I guess. It was a good decision, I think, for me to buy gear when I was 10 years old. So
Somebody just threw you behind the plate and said, "Here you go," or did you?
No, I begged my parents to buy me gear. My dad was like, "I don't know about that." And then one day it came in the mail. So that was a super exciting day. I won't forget.
That's cool. So did you? You were catcher. What'd you two guys play?
Oh, I was shortstop.
Outfield.
Okay. Outfield? What? Right, left, center?
Center field.
Center? So you're kind of the general out in the outfield, too.
Yes, sir.
So was there a lot of communication between the two of y'all to shift, or were you looking more at coach to?
I think we were kind of like on the same page for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It helps when you got a lot of smart guys on the field.
Yeah.
Well, and you get that mentality where you all start to think alike, and you know how to attack the players in different levels and things like that. So that's cool. Did y'all do a lot of scouting of the other teams?
We did a ton. More than probably what was needed.
Agreed.
But that's just kind of like, I think, like, who I am, who Coach Luna is, Coach Wayman, Coach Ballard, and really I can let Coach Luna kind of answer some of this question as well, because I'll be real honest, the further that we went in the playoffs, the more that got added to my plate, whether it was through the UIL or through the school, whatever the case may be. And so I told Coach Luna, me and Coach Luna, He's like my own little personal shrink. You know, he's who I go to vent, and he listens to me, and he doesn't just tell me to shut up and leave him alone. Like he at least acts like he's listening to me anyways.
Sometimes.
So, you know, I told him at one point, you know, probably about the third or fourth round, I'm like, dude, I feel like the main thing, which is baseball, is getting pushed back farther and farther for me because I'm having to do all these other things that are required from a head coach.
Yeah.
And I'm just extremely blessed that I have somebody like, you know, Coach Wayman and Coach Ballard and Coach Luna by my side, because the amount of scouting that they did, specifically Coach Luna, was unbelievable. And I'll let you kind of touch.
I remember that conversation, actually, and I was like, dude, don't even worry about it. Scouting's done. Like, I'll post it if you need me to post it, or whatever you need me to do, I'll make copies. Scouting-wise, man, I got pretty creative. It helped a lot when we had video on NFHS. Being able to go back, pause, rewind, being able to tell pitches. I mean, typically pitchers will signal their pitches in between innings, so that makes it easy. I get to tell these guys, hey, I saw fastball, slider, or a curve or a change whenever they're, you know, coming up in the lineup. Hey, this dude's got some decent velo, don't know how it's going to move, the video is a little fuzzy, this or that or the other. But we usually, I mean, I used a lot of NFHS whenever I could. Before that, I mean, we had a lot of coaches help us out too, scouting-wise. We would, I mean, like film all around, you know. Right. So being able to look at film and being able to, I mean, stay up. I mean, it's late nights, you know. I mean, sometimes I'm staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30. My fiance's mad at me because I'm going to sleep late and I'm waking her up and the dogs are barking. But, I mean, at the end of the day, when I get to put these guys in a better situation, and, I mean, as much as they crush the ball, I mean, it's I can give them all the tools. These guys still got to go execute, and they do. So, I mean, that's it.
So were there a lot of times that you'd be on the bus coming home and you're already looking at film?
Yeah, I mean, so actually during the playoffs, we drove the trailer. So I was in the truck, and Coach Ballard was my co-pilot. We're there talking ball, and I got a paper with, you know, hitting charts and where people hit, where we would shift them, if we wanted to shift them at all, what their tendencies were, middle pull, or were they an oppo hitter. And then I'd make little notes. You know, this person drops their hands, they drop their shoulder, they open up, this guy looks for fastball, this guy struggles against the off speed. So whenever they came up in the lineup, I would be able to talk to Gunner, and, you know, I'm like, hey, this guy don't like off speed, let's start off backwards. And he's like, all right, I got you. Yeah. So, I mean, being able to communicate with him, and he's got such a high, you know, baseball IQ, I mean, it made it really, really easy overall.
Hey, Gunner, did you, on the flip side of that, were you able to go to Coach Luna and go, hey, Coach, I'm seeing something different here? Were you able to give that feedback to him and him, like, go, oh, okay, I got it, or did he just, like, pump the brakes on you?
No, yeah, the communication's only one way, so it's just coming in from him. I can't say anything back to him, but it was definitely super helpful, like, especially, like, first time through the lineup. I mean, I feel like I get a good feel of what guys are good at and what they're not good at, what they're going to look for. I mean, first pitch, I mean, you throw a curveball and they're way out in front. They look like they're really trying to hit a fastball. I mean, that's really easy to tell, but it was super helpful having him, like, hey, this guy did this and this in the series before. Like, he didn't look like he hit the off speed very well, so let's start him off with that. Stuff like that was really good. There was not many times we weren't on the same page. So.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there'd be some times that I'm like, hey, you know, we just threw that high fastball. Let's give him the hammer. Let's give him the curveball. And he's looking at me. He's like, I mean, we're already, you know, on the same page. And he's, like I said, he's got a good baseball IQ. He understands a lot of concepts like tunneling pitches and, you know, not getting comfortable using both sides of the plate. I mean, it makes my job a whole lot easier calling pitches because he's already on the same page as I am. So
technology, how much did that come into play, not only in the game but before the game? I mean, you're not beating on trash can lids and things like that to tell the pitch count or whatever, but how much did that come into play?
I mean, it was helpful. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely just having that communication back and forth, or like something I can't see, like lefties up in the box, and guy at first is not – he's getting a good secondary and not really working his way back to the bag well, and they can holler at me like, hey, this is probably a guy you can back here real quick. So that was like that's the one thing I think.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you guys, you're just kind of like standing out there in the field, right? You're not doing much of anything. Did you have opportunities to do anything?
Yeah, we just stand out there and just hope and pray the ball comes to us. I mean, that's all you can do.
You're not out there like Darren would be, picking the flowers and sniffing them, stuff like that. Or,
I mean, the pitching staff that we had, I mean, a lot of the time the ball didn't come to us, which is a great thing. So
that's one thing I was going to say is how many times did y'all actually get the opportunity to do something? Y'all's pitching staff was outstanding.
They were.
yeah.
We work like a lot of stuff at practice, and these guys could tell you probably more than what we need to. And I kind of always referenced it or use the analogy back to like football for these guys. It's like, you know, at the start of fall camp, you may put on everything that you're going to have in your offensive playbook for the year. And I'm an offensive guy, so I use that terminology or that analogy. And you may never use it, but if you get into week 13 of the season and there's something that you think that you can exploit from the other team and you've already got it on and it's something that you work once a week at practice, you may have not used it all year, it's not on film, nobody knows anything about it, and then you're able to break that out in week 13. It may be a pivotal point in the season. It may swing the game. It may be a huge momentum boost for you. And we worked a lot of that stuff at practice a lot. I mean, like we had we kind of put it on later in the season, but we had one that where like we were gonna guy on second base and Barb's has got a laser for an arm, and most of our guys do, but Dillard was going to intentionally sell it over Caleb's head, breaking to the bag like we're trying to back pick second base, and intentionally sell it over his head to Barbie, who was going to be moving forward from center field, hopefully trying to entice that runner to take third base. And pretty good shot if Barb fields it cleanly that he's going to throw a guy out from center field.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or just there's a lot of stuff that in there like that we didn't use, but if we needed it, we had it. So
I always used to tell my players, I'm going to practice you harder and put you in different scenarios than you probably will ever get experience in the game.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you had that same approach to doing stuff. But
I have to ask, fellas, just hearing that, did you all like actually practice that before, like that exact play, or was that just something that you?
I'll tell you Gunner's exact words when I told him about it. He's like, I don't think we need to practice that. We'll be good if we need it. Like, touche.
What is that? But just as players, what does that tell you? I mean, if you actually heard the words that just came out of his mouth, maybe it doesn't, it doesn't hit the way that it hits the first time that you hear it. But I played catcher in high school, and he just said, you're going to, and I quote, intentionally sail the ball over second base, right? I mean, and so the faith and the trust that your coach has in you that you're going to be able to make that, I mean, you're going to be able to make that throw. You're going to make that throw, and you're going to be able to trust that he's going to be there. Like, think of all the things that he is trusting in you. What does that mean to you guys as players that he would even consider saying something like that out loud?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think coaches had a lot of trust in every single one of us out there, and I think we all had trust in each other. So there was never like I don't think we should do that type thing, or like, I'm kind of worried about him out there doing this and that. No, I think everyone had full faith in each other to do what was asked of us. So that was what brought us all together.
No, that's great. And Caleb, you had an incredible season, and then along with that, you get to share that with your brother who is playing second base. How many times did you look at him and go, "Really, man?" Like,
well, I mean, we're brothers, so we kind of figure it out along the way, and we a lot of the time we know exactly what the other one's going to do, just because we've grown up playing together for years, and it was such an awesome experience getting to play with him, and he's my best friend, so I mean I do everything with him, and getting to roll double play with your brother is probably a top 5 thing you can possibly do. So I appreciated getting to play with him a lot.
That's great.
Yeah, did you being brothers, and you said y'all, I'm sure you argue all the time. Was there ever an opportunity where y'all had experienced some errors this year? Was there ever a chance where you went, God, I just want to?
Let me reiterate. All the time. All the time. They love each other, but yes, all the time. Go ahead, Kevin.
I mean, yeah, there's times, but most of the time we get in the dugout, we sit down, we figure it out, and we're just like, hey, so what were you thinking on this play? And here's what I was thinking. And the next time we get out there, it's easy. We fix it, and then it's just next play mentality, and it works itself out. So.
So who was the one player out of the whole team that was the pick-me up? Whenever y'all got down a little bit, which you didn't a bunch this year, but whenever you got down or you had a rough inning, who was the one that came in and went, okay, hey, let's do this. It's okay. We got this.
Yeah.
Or were you all? Was it a team?
Not everybody all at once.
Okay, so I got to call the Henrietta game. Y'all were up 2-0, and I don't remember exactly how it happened, but they came back and scored. It was, I think there were 2 outs, and then there was an error, and then you blink your eyes and it's 2-2, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
That was also the same inning that Barb's gave up that good deke.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
That we also worked.
Yeah.
I want to say it was no outs. We should have got that guy out at first twice.
Yeah.
So that's a kind of an example. Like what was that like? Because I even mentioned it. I think in the broadcast just said, what's going to be said? Who's the person that's going to stand up and say, "Hey, we got this"? Do y'all remember that that moment? Like who?
I do specifically. I don't want to speak for the kids. I was actually going to let them answer this, but very vividly. I'm coming out of the dugout, and these guys already know how I get when we are not playing great, and so I was fuming, and I was ready to tear into somebody.
No, not you.
Yeah, and before I could even get to the guy that I was going to talk to, Gunner had already beat me there, and kind of stepped up and was like, "Hey, lock in. This game isn't over. We need mental focus for 7 dang innings. Get it fixed." And I can tell you specifically, it was Kellen Oliver that he had talked to.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that, not to call him out, because Kellen's specific answer was not one of poutingness or woe is me. He looked Gunner right back in the eyes and he beat it on his chest and he said, "That's on me. I'll make up for it."
Yeah.
And that very next inning,
Drove in a run.
Kellen's the one that drove
lead.
in the run to put us back ahead. So, that's just a testimony to this team, how close they are. There's a lot of teams that, somebody steps up and tries to correct somebody or get everything back in order. The team starts falling apart because somebody feels like they're being picked on or they don't like, the confrontation. And that wasn't it at all. It was just brothers being brothers, correcting brothers, and then accepting ownership for what they did and telling a brother, "I messed up, I'll get that fixed immediately." And that's exactly what Kellen did.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing this year was never talked about it really, but you just don't want to let things snowball. That was the thing I felt like we kind of dealt with early in the year here and there. We play those two games a day early in the year in those tournaments and do good in one and just be awful in the next one. And I think that was a big thing, just not letting everything snowball. I think if once something bad happens, you can make an error, but don't make 2. Bad play happens, so what? There's still ball to play.
Right.
So get back after it.
So Coach Luna, Coach Gordon talking about, hey, I was ready to rip somebody's head off. Was there ever a time that you had to look at him and go, okay, hey, let's focus a little more, or was it the whole thing of being a brother same way?
Yeah, no, these guys are really good at holding each other accountable, and it makes it easy for the staff to be able to get held back, kind of sit back, and it's, I heard a quote, and it was, you don't have to teach culture. Culture is built whenever they start instilling it in themselves, and they hold each other accountable. These guys very much will do that themselves. So we can focus on the coaching aspect because the culture's already built. The relationships are already there. Nobody's going to take it the wrong way, and get mad and then go pout in the dugout and stuff like that. So, and even if they did, I think that they would get onto each other. Hey, we still got ball to play. Exactly like what Gunner just said. So, and we're all 4 of us, Coach Ballard and Wayman, Gordon and myself, we're all pretty locked in and in tune with one another. So if there's a mistake out there that's made, I don't think anybody loses their mind kind of early or anything like that. We're all pretty level-headed. If it calls for it, then obviously it comes from head honcho, boss man here. But, if it calls for it, it's usually needed.
Yeah, and Coach Gordon, if it's any consolation, I'm the same way. I'm ready to rip somebody's head off, and my executive director's coming over and going, "Hey, Mr. Ponder, calm down, and we got this." So I empathize with you in that sense. But, you know, you talked about the brotherly approach. Now, was it everybody on the team? Because a lot of times you're going to see it's everybody on the team, but, there's maybe one or two that are, you know, just dogging it a there.
No, I mean, I think Caleb's.
Yeah, we were like
right
this the entire year. I mean,
Yeah.
we are the closest team you can possibly find, and you know, there was none of that. I mean, at all this year.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I kind of doubted it in the beginning just because a lot of the guys were new. Like, I've been on varsity all 4 years. Caleb has for 3. Hagen has for 3. It was as a freshman, and we all played together. Never really saw those guys because they were in the JV. But, I mean, early in the year, I felt like it was a little just, like, shaky. Like, not everyone was kind of like we were getting along. No one was mad at each other. No one just disliked each other. I guess we just didn't know each other well.
Yeah.
But once that all came together and, like, we talked about it, like, not being a hand, like, for a hand, we're all just a bunch of individual things. We're not very strong. We come together as a fist. That's when it becomes a real deal.
Yeah,
I like that analogy.
Yeah, no, and I think, you know, it's something we really talked about last year. And I'm not picking on last year's team, and I really don't like talking about last year's team when we're talking about this year's team. I had a bunch of people ask me to compare the two, and I don't like doing that. But last year, I think we were really close to, and it's tough when there's a new coach, and you're trying to build relationships, genuine relationships, as quick as you can. And I think we did, you know, for the most part. But still, that takes time. And I actually told a parent today, you know, I know, like, parents and kids specifically, they don't care what you know until that they know that you care. And I think it took a little bit of time. You know, these guys didn't really know me. I didn't know Coach Luna. Coach Wayman was new. He was a part of the community, but he was new as well. So they had 3 new coaches, and just kind of adjusting to us and learning who we are as people. I think that took a little bit of time as well. And I think you saw the dividends that it had paid this year, and there's still going to be continued growth. But those relationships that were, you know, brand new last year had, you know, kind of built over, and now it had been year 2, and those relationships had time to really bloom. And the kids know, and I'm pretty sure I'll speak for them, that it's genuine. Like, Coach Gordon, he may jump my butt, and I may be really mad at him because he jumped my butt, but at the end of the day, I know that he loves me. Like, he cares about me, and it's coming out of love, that butt chewing that he gave me. And I could be mad at him for a little bit, but tomorrow he's probably going to walk in the dugout and dap me up and make fun of me about whatever it is that he's going to make fun of me about. Because, man, I'm just a big kid at heart. That's really all I am.
Yeah.
That's why I love what I do. You know, I'm around 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids all day, and they keep me young. And these guys will probably tell you, Coach Gordon, he's a goon, man. He tries to act like he's 18 and 19 years old sometime, and he's an old man. He's got gray in his beard and in his hair, and he's got 2 little kids running around. But like I said, at the end of the day, I try to relate to them. I feel like I am a player's coach, not like Joe Torre as far as everything that I know in the game. I feel like I'm a player's coach, and I try to develop those relationships and make sure that they're genuine. And I think that chemistry, that family mentality is what drives you farther, and what ultimately will allow you to succeed at the level that we succeeded at, versus just knowing everything about baseball. I think, you know, like I said, the relationship aspect of it is what makes it special, and it starts with the staff. I feel like the staff was very close, and we've been close for 2 years, and that's not to say that it's always rainbows and sunshine, and there's ups and downs, and, you know, brothers fight, and they make up. You know, that's just how families are. That's how my family is anyway.
True.
And I think that trickled down into what the team aspect was and how the kids interacted. They know that, hey, this is how the coaches interact, and the coaches love one another, and they see that on a daily basis, and see that we enjoy being around each other, and it just kind of rolls into them, and they like being around us for the most part, and unless we're, you know, yelling at them that day. And then they, you know, the same thing with their teammates, just really loving being around their teammates and enjoying being around each other. You know, practice may be hot, may not be feeling 100%, may not really want to be out there that day, but I'm out here with my brothers, and like, where else would I rather be? Not at home on the couch. Like, there's no better place than being on the baseball field with my brothers, who I've played with since I was, you know, 7 years old. You know, so I think that all kind of played into the success that we had as a team this year.
That's cool. And as educators, we're educators. you want to build that relationship, and I think that's what other people that aren't educators don't get, that we're building those relationships. And at the same time, every time, like these guys next year are gone, and you're going to be going, oh man, I gotta start over again, and that's tough on you. How many seniors did you lose?
Well, we had 5 this year.
Yeah, five. I want to
6?
say.
Damn.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
And no, yeah, it sucks every year. I spoke to some of the reporters there towards the end of the season, going into the state championship game, and they were kind of asking me like, and then even after the game, after we won, how are you feeling right now? And I'm like, I feel great, but also, a little piece of me is sad because there's some finality to this, and I know that some of these kids that I have developed a great relationship with won't be here next year, and that's sad. I appreciate everything that they've poured into the program and poured into me and the other coaches and their teammates. But man, they're not going to be here next year, and they're going to be off doing their own thing, and that's super awesome as well. But you just miss them, and I would say, like, going back to the players coach thing, like, I still talk to so many of the kids from last year. Like, one of my favorite moments from after the game, the state championship game, was when I'm walking up the steps, finally getting to get out of there, walking up the steps, and I see, I'll shout their names out, Dylan Gidney, Kirkland Pritz, and Carter Aldridge, all seniors from last year's team. And it was just great to see those guys because I love them. I care about them. Like, we formed genuine relationships. So it's fun to keep up with the kids after they graduate, and I try to do that. And I think that I do a really good job of that as well. But that's what's the sad part about it is it's the destination was what it was all about, or the journey, I'm sorry, is what it was all about. And then you finally get to that destination and you're at the pinnacle and it feels great, but like there's no ball left. Why do we do what we do? Well, we do what we do to win, but really we do what we do because we love to compete and play ball and coach ball.
Yeah.
And now there's no ball left.
Yeah.
So like, what do we do now? Type of thing. So
Twiddling my thumbs,
yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
Like, I'm
So
playing MLB The Show.
Well, you get that letdown after the season's over, but y'all being football coaches, y'all are getting right back into it. What do we got? A few more weeks before we're jumping into football.
yeah, the grind don't stop. Thankfully, Coach Slaughter, he was really awesome. He texted me and he was like, "Dude, take the rest of June off. Like, don't worry about coming up to like morning strength and conditioning or anything else like that. Like, it's been a long year for you. Enjoy it. Enjoy the fruits of your labor a little bit, and then let's get this thing rolling, after June." So, I do appreciate that because it was a grind. We started in January 19th, I think, is when we started this year, and finished June 5th. So it's a long year. I mean, we wouldn't want it any other way, but it is a long year. It takes a lot of time away from your family, a lot of sleepless nights, like Coach Luna said. But ultimately, like I said, we wouldn't have it any other way.
So your wives, are they very understanding? You said your fiance wasn't sometimes.
I
Sometimes,
bet
yeah,
she's a little bit
sometimes.
more understanding now that he's a state champion.
This is-
yeah,
Just saying.
100%.
When
That might make things a
we
little
raise that
easier.
trophy, then next year when we get that ring, it should be
She cried whenever I made it up. She cried, and I think just kind of like what Coach Gordon said. There is. I mean, there's a little point where you're like, man, I am sad because baseball's done. I've told Coach Gordon this. He's told me. I tell the kids too. Like, if I could play and coach baseball all year round, I would. This is my number one sport. Coach Gordon talks about football and baseball. I coach football as well. I'm the DB's coach, but baseball is that's my realm. Like, I eat, sleep, breathe like these guys. They love baseball. They love sports in general. Mine is I love baseball. So,
Coach Luna is part of the 2023.
Yeah,
2023
yeah.
National Championship team
You didn't
at
have to bring
Angelo
that up.
State.
See?
Shout out to him.
Shout out to Angelo State.
He
Yes,
knows,
100%.
Coach Luna knows ball for sure.
100%. Well, these guys make me look like I know ball. So that helps.
You fake it well, huh?
Something like that. Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
100%.
That's it.
All right. Well, we're talking about graduates, graduating and losing that team as soon as you, especially baseball. I mean, it's the end of the year. Like, that's it. We talked about Gunner a little bit and what he's got going on. Hagen, what are your plans for next year?
This summer is just traveling 24/7 for baseball, and then once school starts back up for my senior year, just making the most of every sport I play. Finish it off with all my grade, who I grew up with, playing with every sport pretty much, and just really soaking it all in. You know, getting to grow up with these guys. I hung out with them every day after practice, going to Gunner's house. We all hung out, and, you know, it's sad getting to see them leave. That was a big part of my high school was them. But now going into my senior year, I'm just really soaking everything in, trying to spend as much time with my friends and family as I can, and just making the most of everything.
What's the one thing that you look at with your game and you want to improve on for next year?
Definitely, like, my field work a lot, arm strength. Could get a little more faster, I guess.
I don't know if that's possible.
When, watching you play, especially on the base pads, I think of the Heath Ledger Joker and talking about chaos, and just you on the base pads is that, would you rather hit a double, stand up, get into second base and chill, or would you rather get a single and then have to steal two bases to end up on third? What would you prefer?
Definitely the single and stealing. All that just showing off my possibilities in baseball, getting to show off to everybody, and letting other coaches know, like, hey, if he gets on base, he gets a single. Even if he gets a single, he'll still get in the scoring position.
Now, you were usually, what, the two-hole?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you were hitting third.
Three
what was that like? I mean, and I bring that up because you led the team, I believe, right, in stolen bases?
30 bags.
Yeah, okay.
30 bags. Yeah.
What is that like? Obviously, your numbers didn't suffer, but what is that like as a right-handed hitter, having a dude on first base that you know is going to be doing something to try to get the pitcher's attention?
But yeah, I mean, it's nice having guys on base. I mean, we talked about it earlier, the RBIs. I mean, you can't drive anybody in if no one's on base unless you hit one over the fence. But it was awesome. I mean, you go up to the plate every time. I felt like almost every time I went up to plate, it was first and third, and it was nice because you know the kid's probably going to steal every time he gets on bag. And a lot of people, I feel like, try to pitch around me or like try to give me stuff that maybe I'm not going to hit very well. Let's throw him this. Maybe I'll pop up. And so get in there and I can look for the pitch I want and let him take a bag.
Do you ever give him like a sign, like, dude, I'm giving you two pitches and then I'm swinging for myself? Do you ever do that? Like,
no, he usually got there pretty quick, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it was usually like, not that we called taking a pitch, but it was Gunner probably had a pretty good idea anytime that he got up and Hagen was on first, like, hey, I'm taking this first pitch. Hagen's going to move up for me and get in the scoring position, then I'm going to drive him in. So plus they're all trying to pitch Gunner backwards anyway, so might as well take that first off-speed pitch that they're trying to get him to chase. They're not going to be able to throw Barbie out with a fastball, let alone with off-speed. So worked out pretty good for him right there in that 3-hole. And then you can't put him on base. I mean, you can't pitch around him because you kind of got this guy in the 4-hole behind him from the left side. So
Just talk about the top four. How many lefties we got in the top four? Lefty,
Three.
lefty, righty, lefty.
Yeah.
In the top four.
That's
insane.
Talking about putting me on base. That's what playing Jacksboro. I probably got a little heated at the moment, but they intentionally walked me twice, and I turned around and looked at the coach and looked at the pitcher. I was like, "You ain't gonna pitch to him? Yeah, good luck pitching to him. Good luck pitching to him, though. I mean, he's right behind me."
Well, but that's one of the things that we talked about a lot through your guys' playoff run is it wasn't one guy. It wasn't two guys. You know, you and I talked after that practice at ASU about your pitching staff and that you had not one, not two, but three legit number ones that could really be the number one anywhere in the state, no matter the size of school. But it's just so cool that it was always somebody, and it was different people each time. Caleb, what are your plans for next year?
Oh, I'm going to Texas A&M. I'll be majoring in business, so just going A&M.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
You know, be playing some intramural ball down there. And
Probably so. I would think so. We'll find something to do.
So what did y'all do? So game's over, practice is over. Y'all go home. What are y'all doing at home?
I mean,
besides drinking Gatorade.
A lot of the time it's hopping on the headset and playing MLB The Show with each other. I mean, shoot, there's like there's a bunch of us that get on there and play with each other, and that's kind of just like your online reps before the game. So it's kind of fun.
What's you guys' go-to game?
Definitely MLB show right now. Yeah.
So.
And so, let's talk about prepping. Let's start with coaches. Coaches prepping before the game, getting yourself mentally prepared to go out and do this. Is there a song? Is there something that y'all did? Some routine? Baseball coaches are superstitious, so I know you didn't change your socks or stuff like that, but.
Yeah, my favorite quote is, "I'm not a little stitious, I'm superstitious."
Yeah.
Like if I cannot even put into words how superstitious I am. Like I've used the same pencil all year, and I think it was the Henrietta game. I get over there to third base in the little coach's box, and I start trying to get my pencil ready, and I'm out of lead.
Oh, you threw that? Yeah, I remember that.
Like I'm freaking out, not because I don't have a pencil, but because I don't have this specific pencil.
Yeah.
And thankfully I had some 0.5 lead, and I'm weird too. I want to use a 0.5 pencil. So thankfully I had some 0.5 lead in the dugout, where I was able to use it. But I don't know that I do anything specifically, like as far as like listening to music or anything. Maybe once upon a time when I was playing and stuff, but I kind of have my same routine, I guess, that I want to stick by and do things a certain way. And I will actually say that I think I got better about just superstitious enough to wear a cage jacket at Dell Diamond that probably had my body temperature up around like 115 or so.
Yeah.
But I wasn't gonna wear anything else. I've been wearing it all year.
No doubt.
So
yeah.
Coach Luna, you got anything on that?
Man, you know that I have 2 cage jackets. So when we were home, I wore this white cage jacket. When we were away, I wore a green one. So I want to say it was the first game against Boyd. Everybody's green. We got green top, white bottoms, and I'm the only one in all white. And I think it was Tanner in the stands. I was like, "Coach Luna, are you going all white today?" And I was like, "We're home, dude. I got to go all white." I mean, it is what it is. But other than that, not really. I think more Red Bulls. I mean, coaches
Always.
live off of energy drinks.
Always.
So I always make sure and have my two Juneberry Red Bulls. I mean, and then other than that, nothing too crazy. But I mean, we did kind of stick to a routine. So.
Okay, fellas, what about y'all?
I mean, same pair of underwear every time. That's about my only superstitious. But I mean, I don't like to try to be too superstitious because something happens, like you can't do something or you can't have something. I don't want it to ruin my day and be like,
Song?
no.
No music, nothing like that.
No, we play some tunes. We take the speaker out there while we warm up, but I can listen to whatever and get down with it. So
Yeah.
That's cool. What about you, man?
They preach wearing our school socks for baseball games. I don't think I wore my baseball socks one game. It was always my white Nike socks. Had one good game in them, and those are my socks the rest of the year.
There you go.
For every game.
Yeah. I mean, I just appreciate our pregame stuff. Going out there and saying our prayer, and then getting kind of hyped up over there in the huddle together that was real fun too.
I know that my players, whenever I coached football, I would go through and go, "What is this garbage y'all are listening to?" "Oh, coach, that's just because you're old." And, yeah, that's cool that y'all take the speaker out there and that y'all. Now, do y'all play walk-up songs?
At home, yeah.
Yeah.
We have
not
walk-up
with the
songs.
speaker. No.
No.
Yeah, no, with the speaker
okay.
over our our PA system.
Right.
Yeah, we've got walk-up songs at home. So
I feel like it just eases everyone. If you can get comfortable out there, I think that's where everyone thrives. So get some tunes going. Everyone's not thinking about the game a whole lot. I mean, everyone's locked in when it's time to walk in, but you can vibe to some music before the game. I think that's a big helping hand.
That's cool. Well, did you have a specific one for you?
Song?
Walk up?
Oh, yeah. It was My Boo.
What about you, man?
Mine was Escape. It's the Pina Colada song. So
So
that one from
like
Pina,
Pina
so-
Coladas getting
Yeah.
caught in the rain.
He stole it from me.
yeah.
He did?
I actually saw it on Gunner's Instagram though one day like a year ago, and I was like, I'm using that for my walk-up song. So I
You
took
didn't
it.
have
From
his
him.
playlist or something, and
Yeah.
he heard it while you're riding around and went, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay."
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Every year I change my walk-up song, but one of my favorites was freshman year, Taco Tuesday. That was one of my favorites.
nice.
Coach, what was yours at ASU? You weren't the one that little baby shark, was it?
No. So at Angelo State, I didn't play. I got to coach. So
okay.
I was a coach, yeah. And then it was in my master's program. But man, I think some of those guys have some awesome. I still remember, I'll have random. My playlist, a song will pop up, and it's like, oh, hey, that was, shout out, Tate Treadaway, that's his walk-up song, or whoever it is. So I still remember a bunch of those guys' walk-up songs that year whenever I was there. So
that's cool.
Hagen, are you a track guy that plays baseball? Or are you a baseball guy that runs track?
Baseball guy that runs track, for sure.
Okay. And the reason I asked that is because I just like coach here. I coach football and I coach baseball. And in Maryland, we always had guys that were on the track team and in our backfield, and we ran the wing T, so it was a lot of guys in the backfield at the same time. But they always wore their track shoes playing football. Did you have any issues, like, were you, because you're running so much in center field, and then on top of that stealing bases. Some guys really care about what their feet feel like to be able to do that. How was that for you, being able to transition back and forth?
I was perfectly fine with doing it. I did it my freshman and sophomore year too, so I was used to the feeling of having to go from track practice after school straight to baseball and being on the field till 5:30, and it never really wore me out. Some days track workouts get a little extreme, but most of the time I was good. My legs felt fine, but yeah, it was a good time for it all.
For as fast as Hagen Barbie is when he runs, he is the slowest moving human in the world when he is not running. He's like a turtle. It's funny to see this guy moves as fast as he does.
You gotta conserve energy.
I guess so.
Yeah,
that's what it is. That's what it is. So
I think you're right.
He's just always on charge mode, and then when he hits the boosters, obviously he goes. So
It was that Energizer Bunny. Once he
right.
kicked in, it was gone. Yeah. So, Coach, you told a great story about Gunner and OU's coach.
Yeah.
And so, if you want, can you share that with us, because that was an amazing story, and that showed kind of the athlete that we're talking about standing over here.
Yeah, and then if he wants to hop in and throw in any 2 cents, jump in, Gunner. But he helped me remember. I remember specifically, we were at a Taco Bell, and it was in Sweetwater, I guess, after our Sweetwater tournament last year. And sitting by Gunner and a couple of the other kids eating, and he was telling me, hey, Coach, Oklahoma's reached out. They're texting me and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And he told me, he was like, they're going to come out and watch a game this year. And I, to his face, I was like, that's awesome, man. But in my head, I was like, no chance. Oklahoma's not coming to Wall to watch Wall baseball. And I was wrong, because they came out for senior night last year for the Jim Ned game.
Yep.
And, they're in the cages taking cuts, and Coach Butler came over and introduced himself and asked all the questions, about Gunner. And, of course, he checks all the boxes as it is. But we go through our pregame routine, and it was the same pregame routine that we had done all year long and did all year this year. And I usually run the pregame music from my phone, so I've got it sitting kind of behind home plate, so it connects Bluetooth-wise to our PA system. And I go to grab it before the game, and Coach Butler had walked over, and he was like, hey, Coach, I know you're fixing to coach a game, but I just want to tell you thank you for letting Gunner throw it around pregame. It was good to see his arm. And I was like, Coach, that wasn't anything special for you. That's what we do all the time. That's for the team in the other dugout, just to let them know that they're not running on us tonight. And he had asked me, and he was like, I love the kid. I love everything about him. Love the way he carries himself. What do I have to – I need him. What do I have to do to get him? And I was like, Coach, I don't know what you have to do to get him, but you are right. You need him. He's a kid that is going to be great as far as talent goes, but what he brings as far as culture and leadership is incomparable, invaluable to any program. And so anyways, we played that game, and he watched it, and Gunner came up. I think it was after pretty much everybody had left, and was like, hey, Coach, Coach Butler wants me to call him, and I want to call him right now and talk to him. You want to be a part of it and come in here in the dugout? so we got to go in the dugout, and I really appreciate Gunner for even thinking to include me in that, and it was just cool to get the experience of that and kind of witness Gunner talking to Coach Butler, and Coach Butler just kind of telling him everything, and just really getting to see Gunner light up because I knew that was his dream school. We had kind of talked about it before any of this had transpired, and he had always told me that Oklahoma was his dream school. And so it was just a really cool moment to be a part of. And they hang up the phone, and I could tell Gunner was super excited, and I wasn't trying to talk about anything. Being a Longhorn, I wasn't trying to talk about anything, honestly. But I told him, I said, just from my time at Abilene High, once you get that first P5 offer, man, like that's all it takes. They're going to start rolling in. And I was like, so if you know, but if you don't, there's no reason to try to make a decision right now. And he was like, I know, Coach. Like, I know. Like, this is home. And, I think it was maybe a week or two later, he came up to me in the dugout, and he was like, hey, Coach, remember what you told me about once I get that first one? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, A&M called me. I've talked to this person and this person and this person and this person. But, he knew. And, man, I don't know that I would ever throw the horns down for anybody else, but I've done that a couple times this year. I've got a Sooner flag hanging in my classroom, and it kind of pains me, but, repping for the family, like we preach family, and he's family, and so we're excited to see him go do what he's going to go do over there at Oklahoma. And my two boys, they love him. They think he's a dang legend. He's a dang god. They want to play catchers because Gunnar Dillard plays catcher. So my oldest son, who's 6, asked me, we can throw the horns down for Gunner, but only Gunner? I'm like, only Gunner. He said, we can wear Oklahoma stuff, but only for Gunner? I'm like, only for Gunner at games. So, no, it was a really, really cool experience to be a part of, and it doesn't happen often, so it's really cool.
So, Gunner, are you going to play catcher at OU?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So, we may go over a little bit, and if we do, Shay, bear with us. But so that mentality, how did it feel to get those? You got the first one. How did it feel to start getting those other ones and getting those other people that were like, hey, and then kick it to you guys to go, did you realize what kind of athlete you were playing with there?
At the time, I was really focused on the season. I wasn't super worried about it a whole lot. I mean, in the kind of the fall, winter before that is when I was going to stuff, trying to, get out there in front of those coaches. And I think that was a big thing, me going to the camp. They saw me right in front of their face. I mean, they didn't have no other option but to look at me. So, but, yeah, I mean, it was a surreal feeling. It was super, super blessed to have the opportunity to do that. And so, yeah, I'm super excited to get up there and get to work.
I mean, I've known since we were, 7, 8 years old. I mean, me and Gunnar played together since then, and we've all known he's been special since that point. I mean, he's incredible, incredible person. And then you go out there on the field, and it's just like wow. So yeah, we've known. And there definitely was no like, oh wow, that's surprising. There wasn't none of that. He deserves it.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you one other thing. How many people stole on you this year? Anybody?
There's definitely a couple, but
it's not always on the catcher, and sometimes the pitcher's not.
Well,
as quick
yeah,
as he needs to
No,
be.
our pitchers did a great job of getting the ball into my hands. I mean, that's a big thing when you're catching. I mean, if pitcher's got up there and he's got a big leg kick and letting those guys get quite a few steps on the ground before I have the ball in my hands, I mean, it's almost impossible to throw people out. But when you got, Gage and Reed did a tremendous job. It's Kellen too. I mean, when the ball is in my hand quick, I mean, all I got to do is make a good throw. It doesn't have to be a laser down there. I just got to put it down there where Caleb or Jacob can tag them out. So, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
I just have a couple of questions just about the game itself. The last game that you all played. What was that like? Sending 9 guys up to the plate in the first inning. What was that feeling like in the dugout?
Yeah, I mean,
Hot.
It was hot.
It's Austin. It's
But
humid,
there are
it's
times, and I ask that because oftentimes, I mean, there will be teams that would just kind of relax a little bit. I'm assuming that was not the take that you guys had on that, right?
No, yeah, I mean, that's the goal. You want to go out there and get it. Obviously, you want to score runs every inning, but obviously that doesn't happen a lot of the time. So to get out there and put 4 up on the board, I mean, that's huge, especially in that atmosphere. What the stakes were. I mean, that was big time. I mean, the first one was Kellen. I just hit. They had the infield in, second and third. Like I said earlier, I mean, had 2 guys on base and got into a 2-strike count. I put a ball in play. Probably wasn't the best ball I could have put in play for a runner to score. They had the infield in, shortstop picked it up, threw it to the catcher, and Kellen was out. I mean, no doubt in the mind, he had incredible slide that put us up 1-0. Nobody out in the first inning. I mean, that's big.
Yeah.
That's big time. So,
Well, and the fact that they played their infield in the first inning.
We saw that on film, actually.
Yeah.
We did see that on film. Yeah, we did know we got runners on at third with outs, none or one, that they were going to try to cut that out. I mean, they had done it in previous series. So we weren't – I mean, me and Coach Ballard, and Gordon and Wayman, we had notes about it. I wasn't surprised that they had done that at all. I knew that they were going to try to play aggressive. And they had a crowd – I'm going to shout out Thrall's crowd. That was huge.
Yeah.
Like, they had a ton
insane.
of people. Like, we looked up, and I was like, that's a lot of purple. I'm kind of like...
Well, there were times listening to the local radio station. It sounded like a AAA or Major League. Like that's the kind of sound that was coming out at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Later on, not as much, but at the beginning of the game.
They keep attendance. Like, I know they do specifically at Jerry World for like each individual game. Like, I would like to know how that game specifically, our game specifically, attendance-wise, stacked up to all the other games that weekend and games in the past. Because I've had 3 or 4 coaches that have been doing it for a long time that had reached out to me and said, that's maybe the biggest crowd that I've ever seen at a state championship at Dell Diamond. Like, there were a ton of people there. And a part of that was because Thrall's 20 minutes away. But, yeah, I remember walking to the third base box, early. I mean, it was the first inning. And I remember just, like, starting at home plate and looking and looking and looking. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of purple here.
Yeah.
Which made for a really cool atmosphere because Hawk Nation traveled very well as
100%.
We
Shout out Hawk Nation.
Yeah, we just happened to be in the sun, so our side had to kind of sit up in the shade to keep from baking.
And I'm sure that all you guys have like your one moment from that game that was like the pivotal moment early on. And to me, I think it was the first inning where they had the bases loaded right in the bottom of the first inning. Thrall ended up having the bases loaded, and I think they scored one run. And we brought it up a little bit in the past. Said if Wall can just keep minimize their errors. I mean, errors are going to happen, especially at the high school level. It is what it is. It's when they happen, and as you very smartly said, it's not letting it snowball.
Yeah.
And I think in the past, even with the game we talked about, Henrietta, where we have an error, everyone else just kind of got frazzled for a minute, and it allowed them to tie the game. I was listening to that game at the gym, and they score that run. I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, this is the moment. What's going to happen? Because I felt like you could hear the crowd getting really loud, and I could almost just visualize everything going on. And then to get out of that jam, I mean, to me, that was a kind of the defining moment. It seemed like that was a not today. Did you all feel like, did you ever have, kind of you guys being out in the field, did you have that feeling of, oh, here we go? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that one thing happens. Did you have that moment of, okay, now we have something going on here? Or were you like, all right, let's go?
I mean, we were good the entire time. And we had 2 outs at that point. Kid put a good swing on the ball. I mean, they scored, and I mean that's the game of baseball. And you just go to the next play, and when you're lucky enough to have Gage Dragonall on the mound, I mean he handled it himself. So it was pretty simple.
And just whenever you just grow up with everyone, and you just have so much trust in them, that like you trust that they're not gonna just let it continue on in the game. Like someone makes an error, just put it behind them, next play.
Yeah,
That's all you can do.
it's like one big thing. I remember walking out there after bases were loaded, and I just looked Gage in the eyes. I was like, "Hey, we're good, dude. We're gonna get out of this." Like Caleb said, we had 2 outs at the time. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that we were going to get out of it. And even if we didn't, I think there was a doubt in my mind we were still going to win that ball game. I mean, the energy might have shifted over to their side. Crowd might have got loud, but I think we were going to prevail and work through that. And Gage got us out of that. So, yeah.
So, you guys, what's your one memory from high school baseball that you go, man, this is going to stick with me, other than the state championship? This is going to stick with me forever. And if it's the state championship, that's cool too. But Gunnar, start with you.
There's not like one particular moment. I think, like I talked about earlier, just having teammates, having brothers out there. I mean, there's stuff you just don't get back in life. I mean, being out there with them every single day, I mean, I enjoy it. Like, there's nothing more. I go to school every day. I'm just waiting. When's baseball practice? Like, come on. Like, just waiting to get through to that. I mean, I just love being out there every day with the guys. I mean, that's all I want to do every day. So it kind of sucks right now not doing it even after we won. So
yeah. Now I understand. Coach Gordon talked about this. You didn't play football this year.
No, sir.
So, but you were the cheerleader. You were in the stands. You were the supporting your guys out there and supporting your brothers that were on the field during the fall. How accurate is that?
Yeah, I mean, it killed me not being out there. I mean, I played football my whole life growing up. I love football. I mean, I can remember in an interview a long time ago, people asked me, like, what's your favorite, baseball or football? And I was like, man, I love baseball. But when it's Friday Night Lights, there's nothing like that, man. I mean, so it killed me not being out there. I mean, seriously, before every single game, I felt like I was going to throw up.
Well, I remember whenever they came and said, we talked about it here at the studio. We were doing a preseason meeting, and they said you weren't playing. And all of us went, what? And they went, oh, he's going to concentrate on baseball. And we went, oh, he's going to hate that. So, yeah, I understand a little bit, but I also understand why you focused on baseball and where you ended up. So, yeah, and I bet that was hard. So, how difficult is it going to be you next year to see, your Boomer Sooners like fall to those Texas Longhorns? Or
I don't know about all that.
Just had to poke, man. That's So what about y'all, man?
I mean, I think my favorite memory of the entire thing is 2 years ago we lost at state to Boyd, and in that semifinal game, that series, getting that win, getting that series win was super special. Getting the get back, and that was just an awesome thing to do.
And yeah, just like Gunnar said, like just growing up with everyone and really just creating the brotherhood and like trust you have in everybody. It's something you just won't ever get later on in life.
That's very accurate. You hunger for that for the rest of your life. I think having that little piece of your own history, but at the same time, like I tell my kids, we set the standard. And I had a commander one time tell me, we stand on the shoulders of those that came before us.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have some guys that are going to stand on y'all's shoulders, and don't think that Coach Gordon, Coach Luna aren't going to go, hey, this is where we started. This is where we built up. And I'm sure, and you're probably going to say for sure on this, Coach, but I'm sure they're open. Your dugout's always open to them coming and giving a little talk.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, and about the legacy of the 2025 Hawks, and then the legacy of each individual person. And I mean, their legacy is cemented. Like, they're state champions. Like, they're in the history books. And I may be wrong, but I went through and I looked at the program that they provided, and I think that we broke the hit record for a single game in a state championship game. So, I mean, not only are they in the history books for that, but they're also going down in the history books as state champions. But the legacy that they leave behind, just like what you just said, is going to be far more impactful for the kids that have grown up watching these kids. Because these guys grew up watching the 2017 and 2019 team. The 2017 team was a state finalist. They got there and didn't win it. And then the 2019 team, 2 years later, came back and won it. It's funny how history repeats itself, and it's cyclical, because these guys lost in 2023, and then they come back 2 years later and win it. So it's funny how that works out. And there's a whole bunch of 5, 6, 7, we go all the way up to 13-year-olds in the stands that are watching these guys do what they do, just like these guys watched the Luke Youngs and the Caleb Puerts and the Gullies and all the names that have come before. Wall's such a rich history of baseball and sports in general, and just for these guys to get to be a part of it and have some of their legacy cemented in that history is unbelievable, and it will impact generations to come just because they'll look up at the Gunnar Dillards and the Caleb Bradens and the Hagen Barbies and the Kellen Olivers, and I mean I could go on and on and on and on and say this is the standard, this is the expectation, this is the way that things are done. This is how we're not divas. We don't carry ourselves as divas. There's probably a lot of people watching that say that's a little bit different. Wall's a bunch of arrogant, whatever. But that's not who we are. No. And these guys know that. And we try to do things the right way. And we try to play the game the right way and leave our legacy the correct way. We want to leave a legacy of that's how it should be done. Those are great kids. Those are great competitors. And at the end of the day, those are role models, and I think you can say that for pretty much every kid on our team, and especially these 3 that are here right now.
That's cool. So, you guys, anybody that you specifically want to thank, your parents, girlfriends, anybody, aunts, uncles, grandmas, everybody likes to be thanked on the air, by the way, just so
upset
you know.
fiancés.
Upset
fiancés.
Yeah, you read my mind.
But anybody in particular, and we'll go all the way around, all 5 of you, anybody in particular that you want to thank and you want to give a shout out to, you can look right at the camera and give them that shout out and tell them thank you, because I know that it took a lot of people to get you where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, got to thank Jesus Christ giving us the opportunity to be out here and play the game we love every day. We can't do any of that without him. I mean, you got to thank the coaches spending all their time putting their heart and soul into us each and every day, spending time away from their families, and they don't get that time back with them, but they're spending it out here with us, and it's super grateful for that. I mean, my parents, being with me every step of the way, like helping me make those decisions, like not playing football this year and stuff like that, and all the people around the community, supporting us, like John Anderson out there with us. We go and hit with him once a week in the cage, and that's awesome. He's a great guy to be around. He's a great baseball mentor. I look up to him, so yeah.
Mom and Dad, who are they?
Ralph and Maria Dillard.
All right. So, Coach, get in there.
Yeah, I'll piggyback right off of him. I think these guys could tell you our faith is center to what we do. We pray before the games. We talk about it a lot. These guys are always at FCA meetings when we have FCA meetings. So we realize that none of this is possible without God. And so that's where it's got to start first and foremost. Shout out to my wife, Callie, and my 2 boys, Jet and Carter. Couldn't do it without them. Callie is the absolute best coach's wife that you could possibly have. She listens to me when I need to vent, and she's basically a single mom throughout the entire year, so I can't speak highly enough of her. My parents, Gina and Jerry Gordon, they've been with me every step of the way, and sometimes I think that they think that I'm still playing, and they show up and cheer the team on like I'm still playing. That's just how supportive that they are. Shout out, Craig Slaughter, who was actually my high school coach at Clyde, who's been a mentor to me, and it's been amazing. Brad Harmon, who's been a mentor to me, Casey Pierce, Jeremy West, just some that Mike Fullen that come to mind right off the tip of my head. But want to say a special thanks to all of them, and these guys will appreciate this. And my grandma, Mama, Ann Gordon, she is also in the stands, and she also thinks that I'm still playing the game and kind of treats it like that. But yeah, the special shout out to all those people, and then admin who gave me the opportunity to be a head coach here at Wall, because I had 0 head coaching experience, and they took a chance on me, and I'm glad they did, and I hope that I'm making those that decided to go with me proud, and showing them that I am capable of bringing some championships over here to Wall and winning, but not just winning on the field, but winning off the field with these young men as well.
Coach Luna.
Man, said it once, fiance, Samantha Ruiz, we're getting married in July, so July 12th coming up close.
Everybody's invited to the wedding. Bring gifts though. Money.
100%, yeah. No, I can't even put into words how thankful I am for her. I don't have kids, not yet. I got 2 dogs, Milo and Daisy. Shout out to both of them because I know I don't get to hang out with them and see them as much. But Samantha, you know, she means the world to me. Not being able to see her all the time, and I'm texting her, hey, we're on the way back. We just stopped in, you know, wherever. It could be Midland or it could be Winners. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Winners. Yeah, we
shout out
all
to
the time, all the time.
The travel,
you know,
the
regulars.
yeah, the cross 100%. You know, my mom and my dad, Jason and Bertha Luna, my aunts, my uncles. I got so many of them. So many of them showed up and you know, showed support that state championship game. Throughout the time, my grandma made it out there, and there's so many people, even the Angel State staff. You know, I don't have this job without, you know, Coach Brooks, you know, even giving me a shout out and you know, giving me a good word and stuff like that. Coach Foster gives me a bunch of pitching stuff. I took over pitching this year, and he gave me a lot of stuff. You know, was a really big helping hand in me. Being able to do what I do now and gave me a good, you know, words of advice. Coach Moat, same thing, you know, help with infield and, you know, being able to look at defensive and, you know, schemes and look at angles correctly and different stuff like that. J.M. Kelly, whenever I was in the Northwoods League this past summer, being able to go up there and coach third base and learning a bunch of stuff base running wise with him. There's tons of stuff, a lot of knowledge that I learned over there with him on a short period of time. And I mean, and lastly, you know, thankfully, you know, Jesus Christ our Lord. You know, I recently just got, you know, all my sacraments and stuff like that. So, you know, 100%, I couldn't do that, you know, and have all these blessings without him as well. So,
I mean, I'd just say, especially, you know, your parents, like my parents, they took me around since I was, you know, 6, 7 years old playing travel ball, and, you know, I couldn't be more thankful for them. And then, you know, my brother, he's kept me in line, kept me straight for, you know, all these years, even though he is younger. You know, he works his butt off too, so he knows what it's like to, you know, have that mentality. And, you know, 2 people behind the scenes that you really don't see a lot that capture a lot of moments and that help in really extreme ways. I'd say number 1 is Tanner Fields. He kind of keeps our entire team healthy. I mean, the guy, he's pretty incredible in everything that he does. You know, any injury we've had, especially for me, I've had my string of injuries, and, you know, to have him in your back pocket to go to. He worked me through my ankle this past fall in football. And, you know, all the arm injuries that I've had as well. I mean, he's just incredible to have. And then also Jan Chitsey taking all of our pictures and capturing all the awesome moments that we've had throughout this entire year. I mean, it's awesome to be able to go look back, and I couldn't be more thankful for her and, you know, everything that she's done for us. So,
Mom and Dad and brother, who are they?
Mom is Heather Braden, and my dad is Chris Braden, and then my brother is Jacob Braden.
All right.
Just my family, you know, parents, going from being with me all through high school ball to going straight into summer ball, going from hotel to hotel, tournament to tournament, state, just really never being home. My dad's always working, trying to fund for the family, and me being able to play baseball, I wouldn't be able to do it without them. My brother and sister, they always keeping me humble and in line. Always having arguments with my brother about who's better and who's going to be better whenever they grow up. Jesus Christ, obviously. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do anything. He's the one perfect man in this world, and without him, no one would be able to do anything at all. And just family that has followed me through everything. Long-distance cousins, grandparents, everybody, they all showed up at the game. The state game, so being able to see them and just celebrate with them is really what makes life fun.
Okay, who's Mom and Dad and brother and sister?
Mom and Dad are Samantha and Josh Barbie, and brother and sister are Branson and Caitlin Barbie.
Gotcha. They younger or older?
Both younger.
Oh, so
thank God. We got more Barbies on the way.
Oh, so, got them on the way. Yeah. So, you got any more?
No, I'm good.
Well, Coach, I know you had one specific thing with your product placement and things like that. If there's anybody out there in the community that might want to help y'all out, what's something that you need?
Yeah. So
Besides sports drinks and
we've got this, but yeah, if there's anybody out there that wants to make their way over and turf our baseball field and our softball field, we would not be mad about that. That would save a lot of work for this old coach, and we're actually, Coach Wayman, who has been phenomenal. He's kind of the experienced guy on staff. I'm not going to say old because he's not. He's as young and as springy as you can possibly be, but he's kind of the veteran in knowing all the field maintenance stuff, and so he's going to go back to the classroom. So without his expertise, it would make it really easy for us if we had a turfed baseball field and softball field.
Well,
So,
and on that,
shameless plug there.
your last practice before the championship game.
Yeah, we got rained out.
Had
to go to ASU.
It's amazing how that happens, right? I mean, it just, there's goods and bads to having artificial turf versus natural grass, but for the team and I guess last thing, you and I, we talked just a little bit after that practice, and we actually added a segment to the end of last week's show talking about top 10 sports movies. And you said that, just looking at who you had played and how the whole tournament had laid out so far, that it was very, it seemed like a script and it hadn't been finished yet. What do you have to say about that movie script now?
And Ben Affleck or somebody that's a producer, holler at me and we'll get this thing cut. We'll make some money. We'll use that money to get the baseball field and softball field turf. But
there you go.
No, and I don't even know that these kids know it. I've told them a little bit, but just the narrative in my mind, there was so many monkeys that we got off our back, so many perfect scripts for demons that we exercised throughout the playoffs. With the one game, round 2, same district, I lost both flips, getting that monkey off our back, winning at ACU. These guys getting back at Boyd, who ultimately beat them in the state championship. Winning a doubleheader the first round. There's so many storylines that went into that, and so. Man, and nobody really even talks about the start of the season. We haven't really talked about it, and I'm not going to get into it because I know we're running over, but. The start of the season was rough, and these guys will tell you that. I mean, there were some hard decisions that had to be made, some tough conversations, and we were losing some games, and not just losing, but absolutely getting our teeth kicked in, and that's not something that happens at Wall very often. So there were some very humbling moments and lessons to be learned, and we've talked about it several times, me and Coach Luna. It almost feels like that was 3 seasons ago,
no doubt.
from how we've grown from that, and I think that it all in the Lord's plan served a purpose, and the fruit wouldn't taste as sweet without having to go through the labor that we went through and learn all the lessons that we did early on. So it was a very special season. Love these boys. We'll be forever connected and forever remembered as 2025 state champions, and could not be more proud and happy for these guys for that recognition that they deserve. And we appreciate y'all for having us out and letting these guys get their face on TV and kind of telling their story. And thank y'all for the coverage all the way through. It means a lot. And I know, like I said, we're just a little old podunk town out in the middle of nowhere. But we do some really good things out there, whether it's academics or FFA or band or athletics. We compete at a very high level. Yeah, we compete at a very high level, and the community of Wall is very proud of that, and so we appreciate you guys.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's just the community of Wall that's proud of y'all, because I think y'all carried. There may have been some hard feelings with some of y'all, but I know us at TLCA, y'all are our arch rival there, but at the same time, y'all are in our district, and I think you represented San Angelo and the Concho Valley with class, and I commend y'all for that, all 5 of y'all and your whole team.
Thank you. And
the whole administration out at Wall. And maybe, who knows, maybe next year we can do some Wall baseball games before we get into the playoffs kind of thing.
We'd love to have y'all out. We'd love to have y'all out.
And I can tell you, working during the summer, doing the admin gig, y'all had the support of all the staff over there. We were talking about it before and after, and it was the talk of the day after. So y'all had major support coming from town too. So.
We appreciate
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
We appreciate
Thank y'all.
that.
Yep. So that wraps it up for us. We appreciate you staying late with us. You know, we went over a little bit, but hey, it's not every day you get to interview the state champs. So we appreciate y'all staying with us. You've been watching the Concho Sports Insider with Rob Ray, Arlen Ponder, and these 5 guys. We're going to see you next week, and we hope you tune in. Have a great night, everybody.
Go Hawks.